Black American and a proud member of the Muscogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. Help me help you discover your roots with a personalized genealogy consultation. Paper trail genealogy matters. DNA tests can't prove ethnicity or tribal affiliation. You must search through paper records to dive deep into your family heritage. During the meeting, I will teach you how to navigate the genealogy process with ease. You'll learn how to link tribal affiliation with your ancestors, and I'll show you the step-by-step process I went through to gaining tribal citizenship. Take the first step to unlocking your past. To book a consultation, send an email to mike@keymediapro.com.
That's you! Look at you! Bitch, you like a lad! You like you about to play away with carpet,
You prostitute! No, don't get out. They'll come get your ass
bitch,
out
you
of
a
here.
prostitute.
Stay in here.
The fuck?
Stay in here.
Stay where we stay in here.
Stay right here.
We stay right here.
We are right here.
Prostitute.
Okay?
The fuck?
You see who you dealing with.
Who you dealing with?
Huh?
Look at you with your ugly ass. Take your ass back to Africa, Spain, wherever the fuck
Get
you
your
want.
ass back to the
The fuck
slavery.
with your ugly ass.
You get out of the
fuck?
boat, you ugly
Fuck,
slave.
talking
You
about
are a slave.
you talking about a prostitute,
You
bitch.
are a
You got on
slave.
some motherfucking footies with some
You are a
motherfucking
slave.
some
You
tap
are a
dance
fucking
shoes.
slave. You
Get
are
the
a
fuck
slave.
up.
Get the fuck out of my place. You
You
are
a-
a slave.
you
Look
a
at you, a
slave.
dog. A dog, you living on kiosks, living on people's tax money and coming here and giving
You
people.
man.
Get your ass out and go get yourself
Your
a job.
boy-headed ass.
You bitch.
You
All
bitch.
of you guys, you are a bitch, okay?
You bitch.
Yeah.
All of you guys, you
yeah.
bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. Get out.
You know?
Get out. Get out of my place.
Get out your place.
I'm not gonna get you nothing you want, okay? Not job, okay? Go find it. You're coming here and harassing people.
You mad.
You asshole.
I'm supposed to have Google.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. You are on Kiosks. Who knows what the heck you doing?
You right.
Kiosks,
You right.
nigger.
You right.
You Negro.
You right.
You are a Negro.
You
Look
right.
at you.
She
You
said,
coming
"You
from
right,
both.
Negro."
You
both
right.
people ass
You
niggers.
right.
Look at you.
You right.
Go get your ass and get yourself a job.
You right. Hold on, no, babe, I'm waiting.
Lekon again in Silver Spring, Maryland. She's treating herself to a few hours of pampering to get her hair braided at a friend's salon.
How are you? How's the family doing this morning?
Okay. What about you?
I'm fine.
The two women met 7 years ago when Nazan Lekon moved to the U.S. Back then, they both worked in the same hair salon. Their friendship was built on a common language and shared West African roots.
Yes, Africa is a continent, but it's also like a country, especially French-speaking Africa. We have the same culture, we understand each other, we eat basically the same meals, we think the same, we have the same experiences, which is not the case with African Americans, for example.
Relationships between African Americans and African immigrants aren't always easy. In her 7 years in the U.S., Nazan Lekon has yet to build a friendship with an African American.
Sometimes they think their ancestors were sold by ours, so there is some jealousy. There's also jealousy because when we come here, we know where we came, we fight, which isn't always the case for them.
I worked with them for a long time. You just have to know your place and take what you can.
Nazan Lekon's judgment is harsher, fueled by her past encounters.
They might come up to you, and then the next day, they're a different person. For them, friendship is superficial, whereas for me as an African, friendship is sacred.
Hold on, wait a minute. Foul on the play, foul on the play, foul on the play. I know this inbred, backwards, bald head, bush baby, babbling bitch ain't in the salon getting a wig sewn in to cosplay as one of our FBA sisters while she's talking with a pompous ass attitude in fucking French because this African got colonized like a motherfucker. We got Africans talking shit about us in French, y'all. Pigs must be flying.
Even though I want to disagree with you, I get where you're coming from. When I see black people talking about racism, all that stuff, I'm like, what is wrong with these people? You guys have food, you have EBT, all these things, and you're here shouting about somebody is racist too. Just leave that person and move on. I feel that way. Like, why are they always like complaining? But When Black Lives Matters started happening, like, I sat down, I said, I need to actually know why these people are pained. And if we look at the history, what they've done to them, like if you actually sit down, watch some documentaries, how they were maltreated, I don't think if I'm actually born, I will forgive those people. I don't care. It's easier for us Africans that were raised in Africa to feel like they're complaining because we were raised through struggle. Like, I barely even have water, and you have water, you're complaining. But then, it's not about the basic necessity or about how we are raised. We are raised like, I don't want to say way better. We might not have resources.
If you're raised way better than us, why do you flee from your motherland? Riddle me that. If you're raised better than us, why don't you want to stay in not just your town, not just your city, not just your province, not just your state, not just your country, but goddamn it, you don't want to be anywhere on the continent of Africa. Come on, guys, let's talk about it. Riddle me that. They don't even want to be on their continent, let alone their country, let alone their city. It's just so sad. It's just so sickening. And then they flee to the white European nation that just colonized them a few short years ago. I mean, guys, how many times larger is Africa from the United States? Let's say, just for example's sake, Africa is 10 times bigger than the USA. Imagine we had a landmass that was our own continent with many different Black American countries and just our own kingdom, Wakanda, if you will. And them motherfuckers don't want to live in Wakanda, huh? I guess it's because Wakanda ain't Wakanda after all. I guess it's because y'all were business partners with the Europeans. You sold your own people as slaves to the white man for trinkets, and in return, some say it's a biblical curse. You can speculate whatever you want, but in return, these people turn out to be the degenerates of Earth. Global failures, if you will. Global failures. Some of our ancestors were sold by theirs to the European to come to plantations and live a very harsh lifestyle. And these bush babies are so jealous because those descendants of slaves are now globally revered while they are global failures. And now today we're going to witness a West African immigrant nurse practitioner, inbred, big forehead Somali bitch calling some FBA brothers and sisters, calling some NBA brothers and sisters slaves and bums, and meanwhile she don't want to be in her country, she want to be in ours, huh?
Some way, like our own people will not look down on us or put us behind. So it's in their nurture that way. Like, they just can't overlook it. And if you sit down and watch everything that the forefathers have been through for real, I changed my mind. No, they need to be angry. However, they should still move forward.
They got white names, you know what I mean? Like, it'll be like something Thompson, you know what I mean? Yeah. You'll never see that in an African person. It'll be like Pascal, it'll be Hamada Gogo, it'll be, you know what I mean? Yeah, Kevin, da-da-da. Yeah. They're all, I remember, like, white people pretty much. Something Williams. Yeah, so...
Nigga said they're hard. They're not. American women, not all Black American women, some Black American women need to get a grip. What do they teach them in school? I don't know what they teach them in school, but do you know what I think it is? The concept that African women or women from the UK who know their heritage and are from African descent are not Black is crazy to me. Because the thing is that Americans are using the concept of Black as a nationality rather than an ethnicity. Okay, like, to be Black is to be African American. Yeah, being Black is phenotypical. It's not to do with your nationality. I don't think they understand the concept that let me close my mouth and no one can hear my accent. Me and an American girl sit next to each other, they're going to treat us the same. We're Black. So, like, taking away the Black identity from Africans and from people from the UK who are Black is just really, I think that's really like a problem. Stop doing that, please. Thank you. I feel like part, for me, of my issue with Black Americans feeling that they can police the idea of being Black is that you lot associate Blackness with slavery. Yeah. Yeah. I also do feel like as well, policing, a label that we didn't create, is so boring. Yeah. It's a social construct that they made. Wanting to have power that you so never boring. Have. Yeah. I think that's what it is. And it's just for like, shut up actually. Yeah. Ultimately, was the aim of that sentence.
Y'all from London, right? Yeah. All right, so let me ask you a question. Who's smarter, Americans?
Definitely not, no.
Really?
Black people don't even know what country they come from. I said black people down there don't even know what country they come from.
So what country you come from?
Me, a few. I'm African and Caribbean.
Where were you born?
Here.
So if your kids are born here, where are they from?
This dumb broad said, I'm from a few. I'm African and Caribbean. Ma'am, you're African and African. 90% of the slaves trafficked during the transatlantic slave trade went to the Caribbean and South American. But notice how them Jamaicans don't call themselves African Jamaican, but we're supposed to call ourselves African American, huh? They don't call themselves Afro Dominican, Afro Haitian. They don't say anything like that. But we're supposed to be African Americans when most of us have Aboriginal heritage, and we know for a fact these motherfuckers was shipped like cattle all across South America and the Caribbean. But she's going to say she knows what country she's from, and she says Africa and the Caribbean. Ma'am, you're just trying to delineate yourself and distance yourself from Africa by saying Caribbean, because your Caribbean folks aren't indigenous. They're not Tainos. They were Africans sent there as cheap labor.
From London, but
Hold on, ethnically don't matter. After four,
he does. That's what we mean. Okay. Americans, they're born there.
But isn't that ignorant to say it?
No,
hold on. You're white, girl. Calm down.
No, I am.
You still white. It's calm down. Hold on.
That's what I'm trying to.
So you think that was a choice?
Well, if they decided to ask their mum where they're from.
My mom was born in America.
Well, she should at least know.
My grandmother was born in America.
She should at least know.
How? Slavery was a crazy thing. Do you think that was a choice?
Of course not.
So how can you say that? Like, seriously, how can you say that though? Like,
yeah, but we know like few countries we're from. At least in America, they don't know anything. They just say,
Ma'am, of course you know what countries you recently fled from. We're not immigrants. Guys, did you know that these dumbass bush babies think we're immigrants? Do you know that they don't understand that we can trace our lineage to the Americas going back to the 1700s? And meanwhile, these bush babies don't even have birth certificates. They think we're immigrants like they're immigrants. They're all first generation, second generation, third generation, bush baby, anchor baby. We're here from the jump. We're here laying the foundation. We built the greatest country on earth in more ways than one. And they can't fathom the fact that we have a deep and rich heritage. Meanwhile, they have a whole entire continent that they're fleeing from.
From like California or somewhere.
But hold on, after 5 or 6 generations and building up America, don't you think we own America? That's our home.
Well,
would there be an America if there weren't black people there?
I don't think that matters.
It does matter, because without black people in America, there's no America.
I don't know.
It's true.
Okay, but like, calmly, you know, all Americans are just dumber.
How?
If I show you a flag right now, you won't be able to tell me what that is.
Who cares what flag it is? Fine, you're dumber. You're dumber. Dumber. How many holes does a straw have?
2. 1.
Enough said. Enough said. Enough said. Huh? They're dumber.
We're not African Americans. We're Sudanese Americans.
Yeah, we are African Americans because Sudan is in Africa, so we're African Americans.
I know that.
That's a whole other thing.
Because Dr. Omar actually
we are African
created his own
by
definition.
the term, and that's why some Black Americans say they don't want to be called African Americans because they don't feel like they have any ties to Africa.
I think reparations should be different for African Americans compared to us because we just got here.
No, we don't.
They
need
deserve
reparations, but you know
most of reparations. I'm gonna tell you this right now.
We shouldn't even be in the conversation of reparations.
Wow. Guys, if you're new to the broadcast, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video, hit the Cash App or the PayPal if you support the mission. You know your boy is demonetized and shadow banned. They don't like the truth around here, but it's up and it's stuck. Notice how that Bush baby tried to act like he was an ally, but he still showed his ass. I'm going to rewind that. But notice how the Bush baby with the glasses says... listen, guys, on the surface, it sounds like he's saying us Africans should have nothing to do with the African Americans' reparation, but that's not what he says. Words matter. Peep what he says verbatim. Well, watch this. Watch this.
They have any ties to Africa.
I think reparations should be different for African Americans.
I think reparations should be different for African Americans than Africans.
Compared to us because we just got here.
Because we just got here.
No, we don't.
They deserve most of the reparations.
They deserve most of the reparations. He just said most. This motherfucker just said most. This motherfucker just subconsciously, what do they call that? A Freudian slip? He just subconsciously revealed that he still feels that they are entitled to some of our reparations claim. He says, you know what? I think those Black Americans, yeah, they should get most of it. What the fuck you mean most? We get it all. Hey, Tech Phoenix, you may have missed the most part. You know, Mike ain't gonna miss it. You know, they call me the king of receipts for a reason. I'm gonna live up to the name, darling. I'm gonna live up to the name. He just said most of the reparations. And guys, we're going to get into etymology a lot here today, because even when we get to the footage of this fraudulent ass West African nurse practitioner cosplaying as a doctor, calling Native Black Americans slave niggers with a hard R included. Oh, before we get into that, just know we're going to break down each and everything she says, because some of you guys may have seen the video on TikTok. I bet you there's some things you missed.
We shouldn't even be in the conversation of reparations because we're not descendants of slavery. Reparations from the how we were colonized in Africa. Yeah, we can get reparations from France and Britain and them, but we don't need to get reparations here at all.
Yeah, we'll never get it.
Can I ask this question? What are the nuances or parallels to the South Sudanese or African with the Black American experience?
When I was growing up, most of my friends were African, and when I would say like stuff about Black people, they're like, oh no, I'm not Black, I'm African. And their parents would say that too. I would hear their parents say the word akata like towards Black people. So I just don't think that our generation feels like that. I think it's the older generation that really feels like the separation more, just because they were immigrants.
Honestly, I felt
Nah, miss me with that cognitive dissonance. If the older generation felt that way, and the older generation is the one that raised and reared you, we all know the adage of the abusive, overbearing African parent, right? That African parent that was anti-Black American beat into you a spirit of white supremacy, beat into you disdain for foundational Black Americans, for Native Black Americans. So don't act like, oh no, my parents was just racist towards Black Americans, but I'm not. That's the same thing white folks been trying to tell us for the longest, so we don't fall for that shit.
more othered and more like pushed aside by Black American women than anyone else. Not saying, not to perpetuate that trope of angry Black woman or mean Black woman, but when I met Sarah in high school, she was my first best friend. All the way up until high school, I had never had a close friend that was Black. Sarah was the first one, and she's African. So I've never had the experience where I was bullied by African people or felt other. Like, this is my first time ever hearing that term that's derogatory towards Black people.
Oh, the Akata term?
Yeah, this is my first time ever hearing
I've
that.
never heard that either.
Yeah, I've never used school.
So let's be honest, that's a West African term, and it's not to separate East Africans versus.
I wonder if you know that I know he's lying right now. Oh, you got the new Margellas? That's what's up. That's what's up. I see you. That's your BMW? That's nice. That's your girl? Golly. Okay, I see you. But I just want to know one thing. You ready? Why the fuck you lying?
Come on, guys. Why are these Bush babies trying to convince us that they never heard the word Akata before? And oh no, they're hearing it for the first time, guys. This is the equivalent of some white person in the South who was raised by a racist Confederate parent talking about, oh no, you know, I've never heard the N-word with a hard R used in a derogatory manner towards you black. I've just never heard it. What? You say some people call you that with a instead of a Well, no, I had no idea. Where did they do that at? Come on. We're not falling for it. These bush babies grew up hearing the word akata. Their first word out their mouth was akata.
More tension when it comes to these specific issues when it comes to West Africans and African Americans because there is historical context.
Yeah, they're in closer proximity. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially when you talk about slavery.
African Americans made it cool to be black. Yeah, it's true. They did. You say BFFR, babes, that's African American slang. Don't ever say that to me again. Music as we know it today is practically African American. They created all these genres. The African Americans started it for all of us, but what were we able to make out of what they started for us? Europe's black music scene used to just be a copy of black American culture, but eventually they realized we gotta make this our own. Afrobeats, a genre in Nigeria that's huge right now, has heavy influence from African Americans.
Come on, guys. They running around talking about Afrobeat this, Afrobeat that. That little skinny Indian girl, Tyler, doing her little invisible booty twerk water dance, right? They cosplaying our culture, cosplaying 90s R&B. Afrobeats has foundational Black American roots. Look it up. Burner Baby gets his inspiration from a man called Fela Kuti. Fela Kuti came to the States and got his inspiration from our civil rights movement and our funk and soul artists of that time. And they took that shit back and do some remixing, and now they call it Afrobeats. No. I think Nikki said it best, even though she's a tether. And a matter of fact, fuck Nikki, okay? Because if we get to the original source of the quote, I bet you it comes from a foundational Black American. But I'm sure you've heard the adage, all you bitches is my sons, right? All you Africans, all you diasporans, you know that you're our bastard children, right? Because even though we don't have a familial tie a lot of the times, even though we have no relation like that, y'all been clinging to our culture. You want to talk like us and act like us and dress like us. Matter of fact, I seen a clip of these bush babies somewhere in the Congo, I think, singing NBA Youngboy.
I pay for therapy because my thoughts tear me. They keep on dragging me. I pay for tips, they scatter me. I cannot can barely sleep, but even I cannot hold on. Without you inside of me, I never knew this pain. Take the ones I love away from. I wanna see cats bad, why can't someone call me? I got this shit out on my sleeve.
American culture. So to my fellow African booty scratchers, I'll say it one more time, okay?
Yes, I am a native Caribbean.
How are you a native Caribbean if you're born and raised in Canada? Your parents may be from Trinidad or Jamaica or something, but if you asked your own parents what they descend from, they'll most likely say African slaves, right?
No, they never told me that. They told me that they are native to the Caribbean islands. There were people already on the islands when Christopher Columbus and the white man came over. They were already.
I wonder if you know that I know he's lying right now.
Come on, y'all, another bush baby in denial. He telling me he's a native Caribbean. He's born and raised in Canada. Parents are bush baby immigrants from the Caribbean, and you know that their ancestors were African slaves shipped to the Caribbean. But they've got this weird revisionist history. They've got this weird disdain for their fellow African, where these Jamaicans really want to try to convince us that they're not of African descent.
Why the fuck you lying?
What tribe are you from, sir?
You know what? My father's a Rastafarian.
That's not a tribe, fuck nigga. That's some bullshit pseudo religion that shabby ass Jamaicans that want to smoke weed and be poor all day created. Rastafarianism is not an indigenous Jamaican tribe. What the fuck are you talking about?
There seems to be this divisiveness that is going on in the diaspora, whether it's Africans or Black Americans or Caribbeans. There seems to be this narrative of your culture is not as respected or you don't have any culture. Like we had African women on the show who said that their parents looked down upon Black Americans a certain way. And I also know Caribbean parents who have come to this country saying stay away from them black people because they are X, Y, and Z.
My parents are both from Grenada. They came here in the 80s and 90s. So what he was saying about how they think that black people are lazy does resonate with me because I've heard that a lot.
They don't want us together.
Exactly.
So they push the media out there, and the people in other continents is learning about America from what? The media, the movies, all that shit that they pushing out there. So when they come here, they already got this preconceived notion that, oh, they thugs, they not civil, all this other shit. And it's just ignorance at the end of the day. You gotta take time and get to know people before judging them.
Me, with my mother being an American black woman and my father being a Jamaican man from Jamaica, I can say that my father's side of the family looked at black Americans a certain way. And they already had in their mind, whether they said it on social media or not. We could sit here and make it seem like it's an illusion, but all other groups of black people, which we're all black, we tend to look down on black Americans.
Nah, miss me with that we all black shit. Nah. Skin folk ain't kinfolk. If we going by skin complexion, then them red dot on the forehead Indians is black, right? Then them Australian Aboriginals is black, right? Then them Asians from Thailand and the Viet Cong is black, right? Them some light-skinned brothers over there in Asia, right? Come on, no. We going by lineage. We checking paperwork. We checking hairlines. We looking through the receipts, and goddamn it, I'm a full-time genealogist, so take it from me. When we do our family tree and we go back to the 1800s, the 1700s, the 1600s with it, we do find we have ancestors that were indentured servants, some classified as slaves or freedmen, but I've done about 90 to 100 genealogy consultations in the last month and a half. And each and every person I'm meeting with is finding Aboriginal heritage, not no African heritage.
To know, Mike is the real deal. His information is real. He's a humble brother, and he's all about the information. He's not about, personal gain or personal applause, personal credit. This is about our nation. It's not about one individual, but it's about us collectively as a people. And Mike is all about that, So we stand behind the brother 100%.
If you have any doubt, get it out your head immediately. So yeah, I'm going to continue to work with Mike as much as I can. So I want to say thank you, Mike, for actually taking the time out and talk with me and my husband. You definitely informed us on a lot of things. And the people out there that's watching, he will also inform you on a lot of things that you may not even know about. So I want to say thank you again.
Come on, y'all. Let's get into it, shall we? Let's get into it. It's paramount that we trace our lineage. It's paramount that we do the genealogy, because guess what? We've been false-fed this African identity. We've been falsely fed an African identity that even our ancestors never subscribed to. The biggest trick the European ever told, the biggest trick he ever did, was convincing the Aboriginal melanated folks that they're not from here, they're from Africa. So maybe now we can ship them back to Africa, wink, wink. Our ancestors wasn't going for it. Our ancestors was standing on business. This is a news clipping I have from the 1800s, Kansas City, Missouri. It says, disenfranchise the Negro and send him back to Africa? Absurd. Impossible. More than $1 billion worth of United States real estate, which he owns in his own name in the United States, is not easily to be taken from him. Besides, the Negro is not an African. I repeat, the Negro is not an African. He is an American. African is a misnomer. Why try to send him to a country which is not his own? Yes, our ancestors were standing on business. They were standing on lineage. And now let's see modern day, what we're dealing with these bush baby backwards, bald head, babbling, bitch-made immigrants. These descendants of slave drivers who sold some of our ancestors to the white man. Let's see what they're talking about modern day, shall we?
You prostitute. No, don't get out. They'll come get your ass out of here. Stay in here. Stay in here.
Stay in here.
Stay right here.
We stay right here.
We are right here.
Prostitute.
Okay? You see who you dealing with.
Who you dealing with?
Huh?
Look at you with your ugly ass. Take your ass back to Africa, Spain, wherever the fuck
Get
you
your
want.
ass back to the
The fuck
slavery.
with your ugly ass.
She said, "Get your ass back to slavery." What kind of nursing professional acts like this? Oh, a backwards bush baby, bald head, inbred West African broad. Yeah, that's who. And we got to pause the show to acknowledge a cash app that just came through from Big Hank. Big Hank, thank you for the continuous support. I appreciate you sliding something in the brown paper bag.
Brown paper bag. Brown paper bag.
Let's keep on with the content.
You get out of the boat, you ugly slave.
Talking about you talking about a prostitute bitch. You got on some motherfucking footies with some tap dance shoes.
Yeah, in fact, she got the Billie Jean socks on with some tap dance shoes. I don't know what she doing. These Africans don't never have no appropriate swag. You know, she bald headed. Whenever you see the African nurses with the head wrap, it's to hide that terrible hairline, the non-existent baby hairs. Come on, y'all. These some bald head, bush baby, babbling, inbred, backwards savage of a people. And all this time, we've been false-fed an African identity. We've been false-fed a notion of Pan-Africanism. And whole time, we thought that they were colleagues. And they were some fucking colonizers.
You're not a colleague, you a fucking colonizer. The family matter and the truth of the matter. Here was God's plan to show y'all the liar. They not like us. 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 They not like us.
You are a slave. Get the fuck out of my place. You are a slave.
You
Look
a
at you, a
slave.
dog. A dog, you living on quesos, living on people's tax money and coming here and be giving people.
Man.
Get your ass out and go get yourself
Your
a job.
bald-headed ass.
You bitch. All of you guys, you are a bitch, okay? Yeah.
Oh, Lord, them Africans don't know how to roast. When they call us slaves, when they call us the N-word with a hard R, I don't think they realize that it really just shows us how they've really felt all along. It really just shows us the mental instability within the African population. It doesn't hurt our feelings. Come on, we have it's. Oh, trust me, I don't have to tell y'all how thick of a skin we have. We have a whole game called the Dozens where we just roast one another, right? So when these Africans call us slaves and the N-word with a hard R, they don't understand how backwards and savage it makes them look. But you know what? I came across a video from a sister who really broke down this video. So let's see her really break it down word by word, shall we?
A lot of mixed reactions, people saying this is how a number feels. She only said what she always wanted to say. This woman, do you really want a woman who feels this way servicing you as your healthcare professional? You know, if she feels this way, does she do her job, or does she feel a certain way about Black American people? There's a number of things she said. There are also Africans and other people saying, well, he started it. He shouldn't have told her to go back to Africa. So then the gloves were off with her calling him a slave and all these other things. So the first video that I saw, people were assuming at first that she was Somalian. And I have heard about West Africans saying the word Akata. I've heard about East Africans calling West Africans or people with 4C hair Jarirs. I've heard about that too. I hear about a number of things, but this woman is in Columbus, Ohio, in America, and you heard what she said. Again, people assume that she was.
And look at the white girl behind her. Look at the barbecue Becky behind her that's just kind of like dealing with secondhand embarrassment. Like, come on. Hey, it's an interesting time to be alive and to be a white man, right? If you're a white person, you get to see this weird phenomenon where like African immigrants come over here and treat Black Americans like they're KKK Klans members, right? They're like, damn, I ain't seen nobody act like this since my great grandpa Lou Billy Ryan. I mean, guys, why is the modern KKK African immigrants? Riddle me that.
East African, but no, I don't think she is actually. Her last name is Diallo, and if you look up Diallo, that is a Fulani last name. And the Fulanis are in West Africa. Even though there have been people saying that they might be a mixture of East and West African or Arabic, and people don't even know where they came from. They've been roaming Africa and nobody knows for sure their ethnicity.
Yes, these Africans don't know their own history. These Africans come from countries that just got named by white people in the 1960s. These Africans don't know nothing about themselves, but they say we're the lost ones and they know where they come from. Okay. You know, them East Africans got an identity crisis like a motherfucker. They think they Arabs.
I've heard those things. Officially, what we know is that Fulanis, a lot of them are in West Africa. They're African. Just leave it at that, right? And so there are Somalian people in comment sections who are pissed off because when this got popular, someone has said, oh, she was Somalian. And they're like, don't put this on us. Don't put this on us. This weird, that woman is a Fulani. She Fulani. She ain't Somalian, even though there are Somalians who say very anti-black things as well, even though they all are black people. But, you know, you can't pin it all on them. But what she said was problematic. It was a problematic thing. So let me replay it. And let me say what she is saying in case you didn't understand what she is saying. Let's just examine this just a little bit more. Okay, it's starting off with them already arguing. He says, look at you, B, you look like Aladdin. It looks like you are about to fly away on a carpet.
So far, 1 point for the Native Black Americans in this roast battle.
She's calling, I assume, his woman a prostitute.
He says, you look like Habibi, Aladdin. You're going to fly away on a carpet. She responds with, you're a prostitute. Shaky. It's real shaky. No points for the Bush baby so far.
Don't get out. They'll come get your ass out of here. Stay in here. Stay in here.
Stay where we stay in
here. Stay right here.
We stay right here.
We are right here.
Prostitute.
Okay.
Okay, so she called him or her a prostitute. So now he just called her back. No, you are a prostitute.
You see who you dealing with.
Who you dealing with? Huh? Look at you with your ugly ass. Take your ass back to Africa.
Okay. So again, another point for the Native Black Americans. She says, you don't know who you dealing with. He said, who you think you dealing with your ugly ass? Take your ass back to Africa. So far, we got the Aladdin magic carpet jokes. We got the go back to Africa. 2 points for the foundational Black Americans. 0 points for the inbred, backwards, bald-head, bush baby, babbling bitch.
Okay, he said, take your ugly behind back to Africa or Spain, wherever you were from.
Get your ass back to...
And yes, S. Robinson, we know because we're foundational that he was treating her with kid gloves. He wasn't even going that hard. He was going so soft on her.
She said, get your A back to slavery.
Okay, he says, go back to Africa. The Aladdin Habibi magic carpet jokes, all funny. 2 points for the Black Americans. And she hits him with a go back to slavery. Yeah, ma'am. You just went from 0 points to negative points.
Ugly ass.
You get out of the boat, you ugly slave.
You ugly slave.
Talking about you talking about.
Yeah, calling people ugly slaves doesn't really work when it comes to roasting. I mean, that's just that's just in poor taste, not funny. Nah. Negative points for the Bush baby.
A prostitute bitch.
You are a slave. You are a slave.
Motherfucking footies with some motherfucking with some tap.
He's making fun of her shoes now.
Damn, he getting at her now. He said, you got some footies with some fucking tap dancing shoes on. Ding, 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 ding. This is why she got so mad. This is why in a minute she's going to call him an N-word with a hard R, because she just dealt with her first Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel session of the dozens, and she got her ass dragged, and he wasn't even on full strength. He ain't even went Super Saiyan or none of that. He was at his base form.
Socks and shoes.
Slave. Get the fuck out of my place. You are a slave. Look at you, a dog. A dog, you living on kiosks, living on people's tax money.
She said, you are a slave. You are a dog. You are living on people's tax money.
White supremacist talking points, right, guys? It's kind of strange how the African immigrants sound just like white supremacists.
Get your ass out and go get yourself a job.
Get your A out and go get yourself a job. He called her bald-headed, which she's not. Okay.
You bitch. All of you guys, you are a bitch.
She said, all of you guys, you are a B.
Yeah. Yeah. Get out. Get out. Get out of my place. I'm not gonna get you nothing you want.
I'm not gonna get you anything you want.
Okay? No job, okay? Go find it and coming here and harassing people.
She said, you're coming here harassing people.
Asshole. Oh yes. Oh yeah. You are on Kiesos. Who knows what the heck you doing? You right. You right. You.
She said, you are a stupid N-word with the ER.
Hey, the Africans going out bad, they going out sad. And guys, riddle me this. When I was searching on TikTok, I was looking for some more Native Black Americans that were providing commentary for this. But guess what, guys? Peep game. This video must not have gone viral. Share this with your friends, share this with your coworkers. Apparently, a lot of Native Black Americans aren't aware of this situation because when I went on TikTok to find the people making stitches and reactions, you know what I found? I found a bunch of African nurses running defense for her.
Look at you with your ugly ass. Take your ass back to Africa, Spain.
If we are even right, even if we are right, please let it go.
What did this bald-head bush baby babbling inbred bitch just say? She said, even if we are right, let it go. Bitch, there wasn't nothing right about what she said. Calling us slaves and prostitutes and N-word with a hard R. Look at this pompous bush baby bitch right here. What is going on? Dressing like the mom out of Fresh Prince. What the hell is going on right now? She said, even if you are right, let it go. My African sister, you ruined the bag. You shouldn't have told the Akata how you really feel. What is she talking about, guys?
And do all these strategies we have learned today. Calming yourself, that's your clinic. It's your own clinic and the patient came in. You can communicate nicely to the patient and say, I'm sorry. I wish I could, but I can't. If patient goes off, call for assistance. But to exchange words with patients as a healthcare professional, even though the patient says some hurtful things to you, and in actual sense,
He dealt with her with kid gloves. Mike can go way harder. We can talk about how they inbred, how they do sex trafficking, child sex trafficking to this day, how they flee to their oppressor's kingdom because they have a spirit of white supremacy mixed with bush baby barbarism. I mean, guys, we could go way harder. And we got an African running defense for her. Guys, I found more and more videos of Africans running defense for her.
So if you are an African or a Ghanaian trained nurse who happens to practice in the West, or happens to practice in the US to be precise, stop scrolling and listen to this. Are still, in Ghana or in their home countries and intend, migrating to practice in the US, especially. Let's watch.
Wait. Look at you with your ugly ass. Take your ass back to Africa, Spain, wherever the fuck.
Get your ass back to the slavery.
With your ugly ass.
You get out of the boat, you ugly
fuck.
slave.
Talking about you talking about a prostitute bitch. You got some motherfucking footies with some motherfucking tap dance shoes.
You are a slave. Get the fuck out of my place. You are a slave. Look at you, a dog. A dog.
It is hard to get your USRN license, but it is very easy to lose it.
Guys, peep game. These bush baby babbling broads is online, not saying, hey, we should stop being racist towards Native Black Americans. Hey, she was out of line to do that to a patient. No, they're saying, sister, it was so hard for you to get those credentials. Why did you throw it away for an akata? Listen to the rhetoric of these bush babies.
It's so easy to lose your license because people can just call your board of nursing and report you. Remember, social media, videos, and a whole lot. And so what do you have to do as a foreign trained nurse especially? Yes, you may hear hurtful things coming from patients. Patients would even fire you. Maybe you did them wrong, maybe you didn't do anything, for the fact that they just don't like your face or your accent or what.
How about you spouting racist epithets, dumbass? How about that? And shout out to Critical Thinker. Critical Thinker says they took her license for that. Not just for that, guys. The rabbit hole goes deep. It turns out, in typical African scamming fashion, when they looked at her credentials, she was faking them. The main reason her credentials got pulled was because this altercation made them look into those credentials. And when they looked at her practice, they found that she was a nurse practitioner cosplaying as a doctor. Nurses don't have their own practices like that. Nurses don't have their own offices like that. They have to be linked to a doctor. She wasn't a doctor. She wasn't an MD. She was a nurse practitioner, but she put on her credentials MD and she opened her own clinic on some African scamming type shit. And these Bush babies aren't going to say what she did was wrong. They aren't going to say, damn, she shouldn't have faked her credentials. They up here talking about, oh, sister, why did you ruin the bag like that? It was so hard for you to get to that position, say, oh, and you ruined the bag over a Black American.
This is an update on the nurse practitioner from last week that went viral because of her interaction with the patient. I follow APRN Beauty here on TikTok and saw that the nurse practitioner's license has been revoked, both her nurse practitioner and RN license. I honestly feel very bad. I know that.
See, the Bush babies feel bad for her. The Bush babies don't feel bad for us. They don't say, damn, my fellow African was acting wrong. No, they sympathize. Guys, I'm giving you a grand expose into the psyche of a backward savage. Did you guys know that after this interaction, the Bush babies are running defense for her? They aren't talking about her fake credentials. They aren't talking about what she said. They're talking about the fact that, oh, man, sister, you should have just thought it, but not said it.
I'm appalled anyway by the behavior, but I feel sorry for her because getting to this stage in your career, coming from another country.
And yes, this is a Bush baby bleacher with a blonde wig and some bleached skin. You know, Africans never come in that shade, right? You know, if you ever see an African that complexion, it's through chemical bleaching, right?
Overcoming all the obstacles in the way, going to university, going to a master's program, qualifying, taking all the exams to be a registered nurse, to then become a nurse practitioner, then be able to be successful and courageous enough to open your own practice like this lady did.
You mean to fake your credentials and cosplay as a doctor so you can open your own practice like that lady did? You see how the Bush babies try to rewrite history? Just like slavery, right? They don't talk about the fact that they were the white man's business partners. They say, oh, the white man forced us to have slaves. No, the Africans invented the slave trade. Before the transatlantic slave trade, they had an Arab slave trade in the 7th century. Then the Africans started transatlantic slave trade with the Europeans under their own fruition. It's called a trade, right? It's not called a holy war. No white boys snuck to Africa, hid in the bushes, and captured no Africans. No, it was a trade. But modern day, the Africans try to front like somebody forced them to have slaves. You can never trust the word of an African, and don't ever accept medical care or any kind of professional service from an African. We're not being prejudiced, we're being vigilant.
Is highly commendable. And for her to lose everything like that, I honestly feel sorry for her.
I feel like as a Black African hijabi Muslim,
Listen to the sick identity crisis. This broad didn't just say as an African woman, she said as a black African hijabi Muslim. What are you talking about? If you was really a hijabi Muslim, you wouldn't have them nails done, you wouldn't have no makeup on, and you wouldn't be on the internet. You would be seen but not heard, because that's how them Muslims get down, right? Them traditional Muslims. Listen to this African with an identity crisis. She bagged her a Habibi and she thinks she's a black African Punjabi Muslim.
I feel like as a black African hijabi Muslim, I've been called every name in the book. I literally feel like I've heard it all from patients. I've been called the N-word like countless times. Like that's just something that they just use like everyday vocabulary.
Bitch, we know you lying. This African girl wants us to believe that she's just being called the N-word with a hard R all the time as a nurse. Okay, ma'am, we really believe your story. Do you guys peep the deflection? She's deflecting from the fact that the nurse was faking her credentials and spouting racial epithets at a foundational Black American. She's deflecting so hard, and she doesn't realize it's in vain, because we know she lying right now.
I love when you lying like that. So I'ma keep lying like that. I love when you lying like that. So I'ma keep lying like that.
Let's talk about it, y'all. If you're new to the broadcast, smash the like button, share the video, hit the Cash App or the PayPal if you support the mission. As you can see, as of late, we are having a national discussion about heritage, a national discussion about lineage, whether it's Kamala Harris faking a Black identity, whether it's these Bush babies who have forever delineated from us, but now they're trying to act like they're Black just like us. Guys, we're having a national discussion about lineage, about your heritage, and I'm here to help. So if you haven't done your family tree yet, I urge you to take a deep dive into your family's roots.
Black American and a proud member of the Muscogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. Help me help you discover your roots with a personalized genealogy consultation. Paper trail Genealogy Matters. DNA tests can't prove ethnicity or tribal affiliation. You must search through paper records to dive deep into your family heritage. During the meeting, I will teach you how to navigate the genealogy process with ease. You'll learn how to link tribal affiliation with your ancestors, and I'll show you the step-by-step process I went through to gaining tribal citizenship. Take the first step to unlocking your past. To book a consultation, send an email to mike@keymediapro.com.
Anybody that wants to know, Mike is the real deal. His information is real. He's a humble brother, and he's all about the information. He's not about, personal gain or personal applause, personal credit. This is about our nation. It's not about one individual, but it's about us collectively as a people. And Mike is all about that, So we stand behind the brother 100%.
So I think it was very informative, very educational, very knowledgeable, because you touched on some things that I was aware of, but I wasn't aware in detail. So it kind of gives like an insight to some of the things that are going on today from history. So I think it's very important to learn your genealogy. And I thank you for the information. You're showing us how to navigate through the system. It's worth 75 or maybe a little bit more to me.
If you have any doubt, get it out your head immediately. So yeah, like I'm going to continue to work with Mike as much as I can. So I want to say thank you, Mike, for actually taking the time out and talk with me and my husband. Like you definitely informed us on a lot of things. And the people out there that's watching, he will also inform you on a lot of things that you may not even know about. So I want to say thank you again, Mike.
Come on, y'all. Let's keep on with the show. Let's keep on keeping on. This gets worse and it ain't never gonna get better. I seen a bunch of African nurses running defense for the bald-head bush baby inbred girl, and I only found one sister that I think is a Black American who was also a nurse, who was actually talking about the fact that this woman was faking her credentials all along.
Nurses better stop crashing out because of these patients. An APRN literally lost her license in 2 days. 2 days. Now, why did she lose her job? She lost her job because she had a heated exchange with a patient. She had that heated exchange with that patient on Thursday, and her license is gone, done. And an MD may be the reason she really got her license took. Apparently, she was impersonating being a whole doctor. Like, girl, she done pissed them doctors off, and they made that call to make that license be gone. So that is probably what got her license took quicker than usual, because she was sitting there impersonating being a whole doctor. I have literally never seen somebody lose their license within 72 hours. She also had an RN license, and baby, they deactivated that one too. The public can literally see if your license is literally inactive. Like, people were literally watching to make sure that her license was took. And she was the owner of the business, so now all her income gonna be gone. What I know is that nurse practitioners are definitely not doctors. So y'all better stop crashing out, nurses, before you end up like her. For reals.
Come on, y'all. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Even though this chick spoke about the fact she was scamming, she still ain't touch on how it was fucked up what she said, how it was fucked up and unprofessional what she did. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if all the nurses got some code of conduct, got some, pink line of silence or something, just like how the police got the blue line. I don't know. And yeah, trending with Sharice, even though you love this sister, she still didn't really harp on how crazy it was for her to be calling him an N-word with a hard R and calling him a slave and saying he's on welfare. And guess what, guys? This altercation all stems because she said something greasy to the woman he was with over her insurance. So, guys, imagine if one of us were in a life-altering situation. Let's say we were fighting for our lives. Let's say we were rushed to the ER and we needed surgery or some kind of emergency services. And imagine that we got one of these bush babies tending to us in our time of need. Oh, Lord, I want you to just take a moment and imagine what would go down. These Africans who have a spirit of white supremacy, these Africans that hate us in more ways than one. Imagine if these Africans had our lives in their hands. Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, when this broadcast ends, don't go anywhere. It's going to automatically redirect you into the next live stream. We're going to keep it going on this topic, but we're going to have to call out a fraud in our community. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys are familiar with a YouTuber named Phil Scott of the African Diaspora News channel, because in the next broadcast we're going to do right after this one, we're going to talk about the fact that apparently Phil is jumping ship. Apparently Phil has finally had his Pan-African wake-up call. He's been dick riding the Africans. He's been the biggest Bush baby sympathizer there is, caping, deflecting on behalf of the Africans left and right. But now when it comes to this nurse situation, it seems like he finally woke up and stopped drinking the Kool-Aid, because Phil Scott seems to have had his Pan-African wake-up call. Now, I don't think it's a true wake-up call. I think he's a grifter. I think he knows his views are dwindling. I think he knows that the average Black American realizes Africans are not our allies and that we don't have African roots. And he's just changing tide like grifters and charlatans do. But in the next stream, right after this one, we're going to see how this swindler is going to pull a 180. And now he's going after the Africans, guys. Now he's trying to do some Tariq Nasheed Twitter space mixed with some Mike TV type shit. Now he wants to go after the Bush babies when he was the biggest deflector, the biggest protector. Oh, Lord. Look at how these charlatans go where the wind blows. Don't touch that dial. Hit the like button if you haven't. But as soon as this broadcast ends, there's going to be a 10-second countdown on your screen, and it's automatically going to